Abiding Hearts 2023 Annual Review. In this visual presentation, we cover activities of the following Abiding Hearts programs: teacher training courses, professional development courses, heritage learning courses, advisory and mentoring service to schools, further research and curriculum development, and development of new courses we launched in 2024. 2023 was buzzing with creative, rich and wholesome activities. Here is our visual report. We hope you rejoice with us in all that we achieved. Teacher training diploma courses. We run our full-time kindergarten and primary to early secondary teacher training diploma courses. Abiding Hearts 2023 Kindergarten Teacher Training. Kindergarten Foundation Curriculum Studies.
But they didn't understand the child was cross. Some children don't pick up social cues or the rhythm of the day or what happens next. And some children, especially on the autistic or Asperger's spectrum, need our instructions to be clearer and more direct. We don't usually do this in a Waldorf kindergarten. We are usually more indirect, and the children learn through the rhythm and what's happening. But some children who have difficulties in picking up what happens next, you have to be more direct.
Practicing the kindergarten curriculum. Learning the art of storytelling and puppet shows. Cultural studies through storytelling. Nature studies through stories and puppet shows.
사차 창문 카와 투고 바바통 게콩 타당 추손 강라.
The Abiding Hearts Experiential Buddhist Kindergarten Curriculum. Developmentally appropriate awareness and mindfulness meditation experiences for young children. The Buddha's life story through puppetry and dress-up plays. Experiential contemplations with children on loving kindness and compassion. The Contemplative Circle. Observing and celebrating the Buddhist year. Now the future Buddha was in the Tushita heaven, and knowing that his time had come to be born again on the earth, he was searching for the right family and mother. When he decided that Mahamaya was the right mother, he sent a queen, a wonderful dream in which a white elephant slowly entered her room without making a sound. All of a sudden, Mara came. Mara had great big eyes and a fierce look. "What are you doing here?" he asked Siddhartha. "I'm going to shoot you with my arrows." Siddhartha did not reply and just smiled peacefully to himself. The first turning of the wheel of Dharma. The Heart Sutra in a story form. The Buddha loved the mountains and lived in Vulture Peak Mountain together with his Sangha and the Bodhisattvas. They were happy living in nature and slept under trees, in caves, or under rocks. Celebrating children's birthdays. We created a unique and reverence-filled birthday ceremony which rests on the Buddhist view. Through the story and ceremony, the children experience the Buddhist understanding of human development with a focus on the bardos. The birthday celebration is deeply transformative for the birthday child, their parents, and the other children who participates through witnessing. Baking and cooking with young children. We reintroduced heritage, wholesome food into the kindergarten menu. Craft with young children. Creating the kindergarten environment, making toys, puppets, and other play resources. In our teacher training courses, we also learn to knit and explore colors and color combinations, stitch as an artistic and meditative expression, make soft toys for the kindergarten, such as dolls, stuffed animals, costumes, and home corner items, craft puppets, stand-up puppets, finger puppets, needle felting puppets, shadow puppets, and silk marionettes. Make the birthday celebration and props, dye natural fabric to make the kindergarten toys and play resources, and make wool paintings and other items for the Buddhist year. Ramila Rai, our very talented handwork teacher trainer. Ramila gracefully guides our trainees in handwork and mindfulness. Our unique approach to craft is to bring together practical skills, meditation, and nurturing love and kindness in the process of making resources for the children to use. For example, we cultivate an attitude of love, care, and attentiveness when sewing a doll to be experienced by the children when playing with it. We all sense the goodness when something is made with love and right intention. Our trainees made dolls representing the children they care for.
So 1, 2, 3 and head, yeah? 4 part, and we need to put like more than one. So
making puppets and props for teaching cultural studies and nature studies. Trainees learn to also make teaching and learning resources for teaching additional languages such as English and Tibetan. Bringing together heritage and puppetry in the story of the two Taras. Svasti, the Buffalo Boy, a story about one of the Buddha's disciples presented to the children during Yarne, the rain season retreat. We found that the children have been deeply moved by this story and the beautiful puppets made by their teachers who are training with us. Primary to Early Secondary Teacher Training Course 2023. Our Primary to Early Secondary Teacher Training course is rich, wholesome, artistic, practical, experiential, and academic at the same time. Classes 1 to 8 curriculum preparation modules. In learning how to deliver Abide in Heart's primary to early secondary curriculum, our trainees develop contemplative, meditative, philosophical, artistic, practical, academic, compassionate, and loving-kindness skills and aptitudes. A taste of Abide in Heart's Experiential Buddhist curriculum. Abide in Heart's teacher training includes our popular Experiential Buddhist Foundation Studies and Human Development courses. Throughout the full-time training, our trainees learn to contemplate and meditate with a conscious intention to transform the mind. We offer an authentic and intensive meditation training that rests directly on the Buddha's instructions as recorded in the Pali Canon. In addition, our trainees learn to guide children in meditation, contemplation, and experiential Buddhism in ways that are developmentally appropriate and immersive. Shlomo Springer, our wonderful meditation teacher, guides us step by step in shamatha and vipassana meditation. He grounds his instructions in the suttas, the discourses the Buddha gave on meditation. We also have the good fortune of Khenpo Sherab Tenzin teaching sadhanas and rituals. His clear instructions help us develop a good understanding of Buddhist philosophy. He gracefully guides us in the visualization and meditation practices that are part of the sadhanas. Meditation and contemplation. Abide in Heart's meditation and contemplative curriculum is centered on self-cultivation through training our mind for mental transformation. We do this by actively training the mind through practicing prolonged concentration on specific themes of meditation and observation anchored in the view of interdependence. We define meditation as the intentional training in higher states of mind. In heightened states of mind, the consciousness is expanding. It is capable of perceiving everything in ever-growing clarity, acquiring self-knowledge and wisdom. Meditation, or deep seeing practices, are active mental processes of focused attention, concentration, and being aware of awareness. Contemplation for us means engaging in reflective, retrospective, and introspective practices. We take time to ponder, observe, and engage in a thoughtful contemplative study. We integrate the arts as support to this process of self-cultivation. Abide in Heart's meditation and contemplative curriculum for kindergarten to class 8 is divided into 2 sections: Mind in Body, Awareness and Mindfulness, and Abide, Wisdom and Compassion. Mind in Body, Abide in Heart's Awareness and Mindfulness Meditation Curriculum. A taste of Abide in Heart's Mind in Body curriculum. Developmentally appropriate awareness and mindfulness meditation experiences for kindergarten, primary, and early secondary. Sound meditation. Listen. Listen, this wonderful sound brings me back to my true home. Butterfly Body Awareness Meditation. I am planting a seed of peace on earth. My mind is a clear blue sky. My mind is a clear blue sky. A tiny pearl of light, a special gift between my eyes. Pearl of light shines so bright. Abide in Heart's contemplative curriculum. Gently nurturing wisdom, or understanding reality as many parts that exist in relation to one another and are constantly changing, together with compassion and loving kindness, in a way that respects and reveres children's developmental phases. A contemplative story for Class 1, age 6, about the power of compassion. The 4 powers. Mind is a clear light. The Buddha said, all living things fear being beaten with clubs. All living things fear being put to death. Putting oneself in the place of the other. Let no one kill nor cause another to kill. The Magic Box. Reconnecting and understanding feelings. The river of feelings. This feeling is in me. It will stay for a while and then it will disappear because it is impermanent. The action of truth. An organic practice of working with our daily living situations as a learning process of self-discovery or as a way of connecting with our authentic self. In other words, the process of seeing our confusion or transcending spiritual materialism. Examples of abiding heart's contemplative art exercises. I am calmness in the middle of the storm. We are all Buddhas, we just don't know it. There's a hole in my sidewalk. The Romance of Self-Discovery by Portia Nelson. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I am in the same place. But it isn't my fault. It still takes me a long time to get out. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it is there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. I walk down another street. All the colors of the earth. We are all one humanity. A contemplative practice about acceptance and love. Children come in all the colors of love, in endless shades of you and me, for love comes in cinnamon, walnut and wheat. Love is amber and ivory and ginger and sweet, like caramel and chocolate and the honey of bees. All the Color of the Earth by Sheila Hamanaka. Daily and monthly Buddhist rituals in the classroom. Daily simple Shakyamuni Buddha sadhana. Guru Rinpoche Day. Dakini Day and Feast Offering. Observing the Buddhist Year. The Bodhi Tree, the Buddhist Year, and Nature. Observing the Buddhist Year at Abiding Heart usually includes listening to a beautifully crafted story, immersing in arts, meditating, making offerings, reflecting, having fun, sharing special food, and being together. In the kindergarten and primary to early secondary teacher training courses, we spend a great deal of time contemplating and meditating the 12 deeds of the Buddha in an experiential way. One of the deeds is the 15 days of miracles the Buddha performed in Sravasti. We observe these auspicious days through listening to stories about each miracle, immersing in artistic activities, meditating, reflecting, making offerings, and engaging in accumulating merit. We conclude this festival with a wonderful Battle Lamps festival to celebrate the last and main miracle the Buddha performed. Through these activities, we develop a close heart understanding of these auspicious days. 15 days of miracles performed by the Buddha. Day 2. One mountain was covered with lush grass to feed and satisfy animals, while the other was covered with special food to satisfy humans. Day 3. Great quantities of lotus flowers of every color grew on the surface of the lake, and their fragrance filled the air. By the rays of light extending from them in all directions, the people could see everywhere. The Buddha blessed all the listeners so that they became great Chakravartins, universal kings that support the Dharma, each possessing 7 magic jewels. Each ruled his own small country and had many respectful ministers. The Tathagata entered into the meditation of great love, and golden light radiated from his body, extending throughout the worlds. The rays of light cleared the 3 poisons from the minds of everyone, and their compassion increased. In celebrating the day the Buddha was born, we performed the bathing baby Buddha ceremony. Children enjoyed this ceremony so much that we also included it in the 6 weeks of the rain season retreat, Yarne. When the Buddha was born, he stood up and took 7 steps. 7 lotus flowers blossomed where his feet touched the ground. The Buddha then said, "I am the chief of the world. Eldest am I in the world. Foremost am I in the world. This is the last birth. There is now no more coming to be." The Buddha then pointed his right index finger up to the sky and his left hand to the earth. Bathing baby Buddha ceremony on this day commemorates this important moment in the evolution of humanity. Chokra Duchin, the first turning of the wheel of Dharma. From Shakyamuni Buddha to the present day Guru's formation is our unique experiential way of helping children experience the lineage of the Buddha's teachings. We perform a special Battle Lamps offering ceremony while calling the names of the teachers, starting with Shakyamuni Buddha to the living Buddhist gurus. This is our way of connecting children to the first time the Buddha taught the Dharma and all the subsequent enlightened teachers. We contemplated in various ways the path of liberation offered to humanity by the Buddha. This was part of our way of celebrating the first time the Buddha turned the wheel of Dharma when he taught the 4 Noble Truths in Deer Park. The Buddha's descent from the Trayatrimsa, heaven, down to earth. The Buddha remembered the love of his mother and felt deep gratitude. He traveled to her place of residence in the heavens and gave her teachings that helped her to realize her awakened nature. the day the Buddha descended from the heaven is celebrated throughout the Buddhist world. We tell the children a story we wrote about Labab Duchen and paint scenes from it. We choose to tell this story over several days to allow the children time to embody the many messages it contains. In the daily contemplative circle, the teacher guides short contemplations and meditation related to this auspicious day. She then creates a space for the children to share their insights and feelings. At the end of this special circle, each child lights a battle lamp. Heritage learning, heritage arts, heritage crafts, heritage sacred sites. Himalayan Buddhist heritage arts, powder painting, chariot dance, many stones carving. Powder painting course with Sudarshan Suwal, 2023. In powder art, our trainees learn about the history and origin of powder painting, as well as sourcing, making and using mineral and plant pigments, making a traditional powder canvas, preserving powder art, and understanding the philosophical and spiritual meaning of powder painting. Sharmila Rai and Sonam Thakuri trained in powder painting with Sudarshan Suwal over the past 5 years. They are both very talented and by now have mastered this art. Sharmila and Sonam teach pedagogical powder and assist our master artist in running our powder art courses and retreats. Painting Manjushri. Our students visit the studio of our master powder painter, Sudarshan Suwal. Pedagogical powder painting with Sudarshan Suwal, Sharmila Rai, Sonam Chodan Thakuri, and Dr. Marav Moore. Pedagogical powder painting. In addition to acquiring the skills of powder painting, our trainees learn to teach pedagogical powder in primary to early secondary. We designed the powder curriculum to also consider in details children's developmental phases. This new and unique powder curriculum is our contribution to preserving this ancient Buddhist art and offer another tool to experientially engage with the teachings of the Buddha. Charya dance. Charya is the dance of the Buddhist wisdom deities, taught by Sangita Shakya and Swayambhu Shakya. Mani stones carving. Carving sacred Buddhist seed syllables, mantras and auspicious symbols with Suraj Tamang. Traditional Buddhist metalwork, making Buddhist artifacts for rituals. Heritage learning, pilgrimages and connecting to sense of place. Pilgrimages to sacred Buddhist sites. Visiting sacred sites inspire us to deepen our understanding of Buddhist principles and practices. We cultivate reverence in an experiential way. By integrating pilgrimages throughout the training and children's curriculum, we connect in our heart with history and sense of place. Our trainees went on pilgrimages throughout Buddhist Kathmandu as part of our Experiential Buddhism course for kindergarten and primary to early secondary education. Accumulating karma merit, light offerings and going on pilgrimages. On these wonderful journeys, we learned through being in the sacred places in quietness, listening to stories, meditating, contemplating, sharing meals and teas, and having a wonderful time together. In this way, we rediscovered the magic, beauty, and historical importance of Buddhist and Vedic Kathmandu. A pilgrimage to Nama Buddha. Bodhicitta is born from great compassion that rests on cherishing love, developed through practicing altruism, other before self. Buddhist heritage crafts. Making Buddhist prayer flags, bringing together Buddhist technology and ecology in making prayer flags. We dye cotton cloth using natural dyes. We make natural ink out of soot and linseed oil. We learn and connect with the deities and prayers we printed on the flags. Making incense. Integrating into making incense, we include heritage learning experience, contemplative practices related to Buddhist ecology, meditation, botany, environmental science, literacy, life skills, numeracy, ancient technology, arts, geography, emotional literacy, and universal ethics. Grinding herbs using traditional warm technology. Making traditional Himalayan canvas for powder painting. Traditional Himalayan Buddhist book cover. Gardening, impermanence, interdependence, and loving the earth. Academic skills in primary to early secondary. All aspects of the Abiding Hearts curriculum, be it literacy, numeracy, or additional languages, are taught inseparably from experiential Buddhism. This means the view of interdependence, meditation, and contemplation practices are always an integral part of the content, delivery, and experience. In this way, both children and teachers are able to connect with joy and healing in the process of learning and teaching. Our academic studies for primary to early secondary cover the following array of subjects and learning approaches. From learning, contemplating, and meditating to integrating knowledge as our own. From listening to thinking, discussing, debating, presenting, and embodying. From Buddhist studies to experience and application in everyday life. From Buddhist history infused with world history to understanding and discussing current affairs. From maths and science to Buddhist ethics and Buddhist ecology. Buddhist studies, Buddhist history, world history, cultural studies, social studies, sciences, physics, botany, zoology, chemistry, health and nutrition, geology, mineralogy, astronomy, meteorology, geography, world literature, Buddhist literature, sustainable education and Buddhist ecology, horticultural science, agriculture, environmental studies. Our trainees learn to teach these academic subjects from the Buddhist view of interdependence, universal ethics, and giving rise to bodhicitta, or all-encompassing compassion. At the heart of the Abiding Heart approach is to ensure that the right nourishment at the right time of development is offered to children. Hence, we give great consideration to introducing these themes in a way that meets the child's developmental needs. We spend many months in our training understanding nature of reality and human development. For example, in accordance with holistic child development, our trainees learn how to introduce to children in early secondary inquiry-based learning, including observing, reflecting, discussing, and presenting skills. Literacy and additional languages learning. Our trainees receive intensive and thorough training on teaching literacy, language arts, and additional languages. Our focus this year has been on English and Tibetan languages and how to teach them as main languages and as additional languages. Into these modules, we learn the neuroscience and neurodiversity perspectives of learning languages. We have a great team of language experts teaching these modules: Janet, Anna, Patty, Marav, Tseten, Kemposherab Tenzin, Yolanda, and Pauline.
This right hemisphere, it's the hemisphere that likes to look at the whole and figure out the whole. It's very interested in the spatial tasks that we have, like what's going on in my story to you. Your right hemisphere is trying to figure out, where is Patty going with all of this? Where's she headed? So what we want to do when we're first teaching the children how to read, how to just start to understand the code of our language, the letters of our language, we want to lean on that colorful right hemisphere side. We want to bring a picture for the children of each letter and a feeling with it as well, especially with the vowels of our language.
Tibetan language. The structure of Tibetan language was taught by Khenpo Sherab Tenzin and Seten La. The unique method and tools for teaching Tibetan literacy and colloquial was developed and taught by the Abide in Heart team. This included, for example, how to teach phonics, letter recognition, handwriting, reading, spelling, and creative writing. The literacy program is immersed in Buddhist-based stories, and into it we also integrated the Buddhist view, meditation, and contemplation with plenty of art. We are quite pleased with the results. The teachers who implemented our Tibetan literacy program in their classrooms reported that their pupils have been responding well and picked up the language quite quickly. Intensive training in Tibetan language teaching, making learning resources for literacy. A taste of Tibetan literacy. We introduced the Uchen and Ume script in a pictorial way. We offer the children images of print and handwritten letters through a story where Dharma, print letters, are actually daily letters in a formal dress. In our approach, which is inspired by Steiner's pedagogy, we use storytelling, role play, movement, coloring, painting, drawing, and sculptural modeling as an integral part of learning to read and write. The Kingdom of Word is Abide in Heart's own approach for teaching Tibetan spelling, or the 7 elements of a word. We use imagination, storytelling, drawing, painting, and drama to teach the complex Tibetan spelling, grammar, structure of a sentence, and composition. By early secondary, our literacy curriculum includes developing different styles of writing, such as narrative, descriptive, reflective, summary, critical, poetic, and creative. Mathematics. Integrated into teaching mathematics, we nurture in children an understanding of Buddhist principles through immersing them, for example, in understanding the quality of numbers. The children learn to recognize numbers through experiencing the quality of each number as presented in Buddhism. Our trainees learn to teach numeracy from counting to writing numbers to practicing the 4 processes in an approach that is filled with stories about love, kindness, compassion, and accumulating merit. This learning is submerged with colors and the arts. Monks and Mantras, a story for introducing the 4 operations. We teach our trainees to create culturally relevant number stories when practicing the 4 processes and word problems. Learning the multiplication table, from doing to feeling to abstract comprehension. We of course include art making, understanding patterns and geometric forms, as well as using movement and rhythm when learning the multiplication table.
In the classroom, you do much more, but you can see here it's a bit chaotic. And the king was saying, "Oh, I wish I knew how many were here. It's just a big pile." And so his children used to keep hearing this until one, the eldest child, said, "Father, I've been thinking about your problem, and I've been busy carving." And
Science curriculum. Abiding Heart integrated sense-based science and Buddhism. At our teacher training course, we teach the Abiding Heart's science curriculum in 2 steps, or 2 interrelated modules. 1. Foundation sense-based curriculum module. 2. Bringing the Buddhist view, ethics and meditation together with sense-based science module. Excerpts from Foundation sense-based science module.
tell me, and I'll forget. Show me, and I'm teaching a definition is what I call brainwashing. You say, believe this because I tell you, not because you understand it. And what we're trying to teach through this style of education is through doing, you understand, and you know how to explore the world. You're encouraged to explore the world and discover through your own thinking about it. And that's why I give you these little structures of thinking about things. What did we have? What did we do? What did we observe? And what are the connections between what we did and what happened? So you develop the logic.
A taste of weather and meteorology curriculum. Water, in its different forms, is very much part of the weather. Melt the ice of your concepts so that the fluid water of a free conception can flow. By Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche. We also use the study of water in its different forms as a metaphor to contemplate the mind. When the mind is frozen, we suffer. We constantly go from hope to fear, from liking to hating. When we are able to melt this ice, our mind becomes free, like flowing fluid water. We study climate as a threefold process. A historical review of temperature going back millions of years through the different ages. A taste of Foundation Physics curriculum. Heat, contraction and expansion. Light. Excerpts from teaching Experiential Buddhism together with sense-based science, phenomenology. Once the trainees completed our Foundation Science curriculum module and the Experiential Buddhist Foundation course, which they had in semester 1, they were ready to learn how to teach our integrated science and Buddhism curriculum. This included bringing in the Buddhist view, philosophy, Vaibhashika and Sautantrika, ethics, meditation, and contemplative practices. In our innovative science and Buddhism curriculum, we conduct experiments, construct electric circuits, and simple mechanics. We do this together with learning to hypothesize, observe, describe, reflect, and discuss the law of causality, interdependence, consciousness, the 18 Dhatus, Vaibhashika philosophical school of thought, and other Buddhist principles. As always, our lessons are peppered with meditation, arts, poetry, literacy, and numeracy. Integrating the study of physics, anatomy, and the 18 Dhatus. In Abhidharma, a Buddhist text, the 18 Dhatus are divided into form, or in this case organ, consciousness, object, or phenomena. As an example, we bring together the study of sound, frequency, physics, the anatomical function of the ear organ, physiology, anatomy, and the ear consciousness, Buddhism. In the Abhidharma Buddhist text, we learn that when sound frequency meets our ear organ, our ear consciousness connects the organ with the object, and we can hear sound. It is our mind consciousness that translates the sound into meaning. Another example, we bring together optics, physics, the anatomical function of the eye organ, anatomy, physiology, and the eye consciousness, Buddhism. The reproductive system and the Buddhist view. The reproductive system and precious human life. When studying how a human life is created from conception to birth, we also have a wonderful opportunity to reflect on the preciousness of human life and the other thoughts that turn the mind away from samsara. The 4 thoughts. 1. The preciousness of human life. 2. Impermanence. 3. The principle of cause and result. 4. The suffering that is present in ourselves and the world. The stages of pregnancy according to science. In the course of our life, each of us go through major changes. The first is our conception, when the gamete cells from each parent unite to form a zygote, the beginning of our physical body. Our growth is now the fastest it will ever be. Our second major development is our birth, about 40 weeks after conception. The stages of pregnancy according to the Kala Chakra and Tibetan medicine. The heart and the jewel in the lotus. The heart-mind, or chitta, can be described as our thoughts, feelings, subtle thoughts, emotions, personality traits, reactions, and knowing. Feelings are the natural aspects of the heart-mind, with pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral feelings. Our heart awakens when the jewel of the heart rests in the lotus of the heart. This is a beautiful metaphor for describing that the heart awakens when clarity rests in compassion. The respiratory system and mindfulness of breathing meditation. Mindfulness of breathing. Breathing in, we know we are breathing in. Breathing out, we know we are breathing out. Breathing in long, we know we are inhaling long. Breathing out long, we know we are exhaling long. Breathing in short, we know we are inhaling short. Breathing out short, we know we are exhaling short. Breathing in heavy, we know we are inhaling heavy. Breathing out heavy, we know we are exhaling heavy. Breathing in light, we know we are inhaling light. Breathing out light, we know we are exhaling light. Life sciences: zoology, botany, biology, and anatomy. Zoology, Buddha nature, non-violence, and the four immeasurable. When Robin was teaching you, you were working also with sea animals, right? He also brought that in. Okay. Now, please always remember, in whatever we teach, so in this case we're teaching science, there's always going to be meditation. There's always going to be contemplation. Okay, there's always going to be, like, we're going to introduce the knowledge, right? That specific subject in science that we're doing. We're always going to do some meditation that is bridging one way or another the Buddhist view and the Buddhist experience with the science. And there's always going to be a contemplation in order to bring the ethical aspects and the Buddhist aspect. So it's always going to be integrated. It's not going to be meditation here, contemplation here, science here. It's not going to be like that, okay? So always, I want you to think that. Botany, interdependence, and gratitude, or appreciation. Earth sciences: geography, geology, mineralogy, meteorology, astronomy, and horticulture. Geology. We teach geology through the lens of understanding emptiness. Studying the rock cycle is a wonderful example of learning impermanence, interdependence, and multiplicity. We study the cycle of rocks together with interdependence things exist in relation to something else. And impermanence. Everything is in constant change. The formation and erosion of rocks and mountains happens when many processes, causes and conditions come together interdependently and are in a constant state of change. Some changes are subtle, such as erosion of rocks and boulders by wind and water, and some are gross, such as volcanic eruption creating a new island in the ocean. These geological processes created mountains and caves. Mountains can be seen as acupuncture points on the earth, where yogis and great masters of past and present chose to spend their time in retreats, practicing meditation and contemplation. Milarepa, Tibet's great yogi, and the demons in his cave. One day, Milarepa's cave becomes filled with demons. Milarepa has to face the strongest demon amongst this gang. He decides to face his fears, and instead of running away, he puts his head into this demon's mouth. Milarepa surrenders, and in that moment of not resisting, all the demons disappear. Milarepa feels deep peace and brilliant light radiates from his heart. Contemplation. When we stop fighting things, negative emotions go away. The caves of Lapchi in the high Himalayan mountains. Lapchi is located in a remote area in East Nepal, in Dholaka district, near the border with Tibet. Milarepa spent time meditating in the caves above Lapchi, and contemporary yogis choose to renounce worldly things and focus on meditative practices there to progress on the path of liberation, enlightenment. Nupa Rinpoche and the yogis of Lapchi. Nupa Rinpoche, a great Buddhist master yogi, spent many years in retreat in the caves above Lapchi. Following Nupa Rinpoche's example, many of his most dedicated students have committed to a life of long-term retreat in Lapchi. The analogy between rock formation and habit formation. We use the study of rock formation as an analogy to contemplate our experiences with our emotional life and habit formation. The eruption of a volcano leads to formation of rocks and fertile land if the right causes and conditions come together. Habits are formed not in one go, but as a process of many activities that are interconnected and constantly changing. This brings about the solidification and hardening of a habit. A rock cycle can be taken without the judgment of good and bad. Observing our habits, we can reflect on our experiences and habits that lead us towards self-cultivation and those that lead us astray into spiritual materialism or egoism. Linking mineralogy with making natural pigments for Pauba tanka painting. Sustainability studies, environmental studies, ecology, Buddhist ecology, and sustainable development. The Foolish Forest Sprite from I Once Was a Monkey by Jean M. Lee. a story from our Sustainability Studies curriculum, bringing together Buddhist ecology and sustainable development. Because sustainable development, it should go with science, and it should go with gardening, and it should go with geography, and it should go with history, okay? It should go with home economics. It should penetrate every aspect. And sustainable development also goes together with Buddhist ecology. And Buddhist ecology contains Buddhist view and Buddhist ethics. It goes hand in hand. Actually, Buddhist ecology is a wonderful way to actually bring and embody sustainable development consciousness. Integrated humanities, bringing history, literature, heritage, sense of place, and the arts together with Buddhist philosophical principles and meditation. Geography and sense of place. Local geography and history. We use the Kathmandu Valley as an example of how we bring together local geography, history, heritage, and sense of place, together with the Buddhist view, meditation, pilgrimages, the arts, literacy, and map-making skills. A pilgrimage to Chobar Gorge. Kathmandu Valley was originally a lake. Bodhisattva Manjushri used his sword to cut a gorge and drain this lake. He then established a new civilization, teaching the inhabitants to farm, work with metal, clay, and master other crafts. Manjushri also introduced them to the Buddha Dharma. The Nawars are considered to be the children of Manjushri. This pilgrimage includes listening to stories about the origin of this valley, Bodhisattva Manjushri, and other wisdom deities connected with Kathmandu. We spend time in this sacred space, meditating, making offerings, and drawing. History. History, is a memory of the past, but it's not a clean memory because it's influenced by so many things, and it depends who tells the story of history. So it's very subjective. Excerpts from Abiding Heart's history curriculum. Understanding world history through Buddhist philosophical principles. The Abiding Heart's history curriculum is centered on understanding the study of change, impermanence, and that everything exists in relation to something else, impermanence. Loving kindness and compassion, reflective practices, and discussions are used to learn from history. At Abiding Heart, we teach from the view that history is very relevant for our times. It is not the study of the past, but the study of change. Our learning approach to history is threefold. Learning, understanding. First, we gain an understanding of the past. The past shaped the present, which gives rise to the future based on our actions. Our actions are influenced by our perceptions. The past is made of many interconnected events and circumstances that arise in dependence of one another and are constantly changing. Contemplating and meditating. Next, we contemplate those events and the manner in which they shape our present affairs. As human beings, we have the freedom to choose, and with that, determine our future. In this section, we engage with inquiry, critical thinking, and reflective practices. Acting, integrating. Lastly, gaining such insights and meditating on them teaches us that we are all part of everything that happens in the world. In learning history from this angle, we nurture the attitude of taking self-responsibility and accountability. We have agency to shape the future, for better or worse, which is linked to our level of knowing and understanding the past without prejudices, with wisdom. We therefore attempt to equip our students with tools to cultivate harmony, kindness, and non-harming. We also study history together with understanding the Buddhist view of reality, relative reality, which includes false and true relative reality, and ultimate reality. Prehistoric ages and meditation. In studying prehistoric ages, by going through the human lineage, we can observe that we, modern humans, are different and unique subspecies of the archaic Homo sapiens. The main distinction is in our ability to know that we are having thoughts. However, in everyday experience, it is not pointed out to us. We have this capacity to know that we are having all these thoughts. Meditation connects us with that. Awareness and mindfulness meditation helps us become aware that we are aware. If our thoughts are like a waterfall, then meditation allows us to go behind the waterfall of our thoughts and emotions. Self-awareness or metacognition is like the gap or crack in the rock behind the waterfall. World history and emptiness. Studying world history is a great opportunity to explore a conceptual understanding of emptiness, that everything exists in relation to something else, or made of many parts that are interdependent and are constantly changing. In studying history, we reflect on the manner in which our present world has come into being. There are still many mysteries about the past which are yet to be discovered. When we learn about ancient great civilizations such as India, Persia, Mesopotamia, or Egypt, we can observe interconnected events and circumstances that arose, remained for a while, and then dissolved, giving rise to other events and great empires. This is a wonderful way to understand impermanence, the law of cause and result, and the 12 links of dependent origination. Vishnu, the sleeping creator, the Hindu story of creation as told in the Puranas. The Epic of Gilgamesh. Compassion, love, care, and rejoicing. Siduri wanted Gilgamesh to learn to experience giving, caring, and loving others, as well as feeling compassion, empathy, and joy. In the end, he became that, inspiring us all to transmute darkness into light. Ancient Persia. Ancient Mesopotamia. Ur was the largest city in the world 4,000 years ago. In the Torah, Ur is mentioned as the birthplace of Abraham. Ancient Egypt. From Class 5 Art and History Curriculum, a clay pot from Ancient Egypt. World History, Karma, and Buddhist Ethics. From Roman History. The Carthage were a powerful nation in what is known today as Tunisia. The power-hungry Romans eventually conquered Carthage, burnt it down, and enslaved their people. Scipio Aemilianus was a Roman general who led the victory against this nation. During the burning of Carthage, he wept, realizing that one day Rome would follow the same fate. Roman General Scipio Aemilianus. Scipio wept and grieved as he watched Carthage burn. "A glorious moment," he cried. "I have a dread foreboding that someday the same doom will be pronounced on my own country." Examples of group contemplations and discussions in our history curriculum. Impermanence. Nothing lasts forever, not even great empires. Karma. Harming others is harming ourselves. Compassion and wisdom. Our suffering has happened. However, those who caused us harm are yet to transform and transmute the consequences of the unwholesome actions. How can we develop compassion towards them, knowing that their ignorance leads them to self-inflicting suffering? Self-responsibility. Taking responsibility for everything that happens to us. Sculpting a Roman statesman. Contemplating humility and transmuting ego through history. In our world history course, we learned that empires, civilizations with great wealth and military might, had integrated their material and spiritual innovations with that of their predecessors and asserted their influences on many nations. Their power seemed absolute and unchallenged. History tells us that empires rise, stay for a while, and then disappear. This gave us rich contemplations on interconnectivity, impermanence, humility, and transmuting our ego. Developing compassion and wisdom through history. Through analytical meditation and reflective practices, we nurtured an attitude of gratitude and appreciation to the contributions of those before us that made so many things possible for us. We also discussed and engaged in an introspective practice on the impact of dark periods in human history and the urgent need to develop compassion and wisdom to not repeat the mistakes of the past. History, morality development, and the Eightfold Path. In teaching history at Abide in Heart, we use learning tools such as investigating, inquiring, and questioning. We teach in a way that helps students gain clarity through understanding, for example, a past event from different points of view. Developing the capacity to discern right from wrong requires a strong ethical foundation. Having morality and virtue are necessary requisites for transformation. The Buddha gave us excellent tools for such self-actualization when he introduced the Eightfold Path. The Silk Roads. The Silk Roads is a sophisticated network of routes spreading goods, ideas, and religions around the civilized world, changing it forever. They have been used for nearly 2,000 years and are the most famous long-distance trade routes in the ancient world. The transmission of Buddhism to Central Asia and China corresponded with the development of the Silk Routes as channels for intercultural exchanges. By the 2nd century CE, Buddhist monasteries emerged on the northern and southern branches of the Silk Routes. Monks who traveled between India and China along these routes were responsible for the transmission of Buddhism. Along the Silk Roads, we can find Buddhist sites with ancient stupas, cave paintings depicting Buddhist themes, and Buddhist Sanskrit manuscripts belonging to Sravakayana and Mahayana schools, as well as Buddhist literature written in Tibetan and Mongolian. Buddhist artistic and literary traditions continued to flourish in parts of the Silk Roads, along with Zoroastrian, Manichaean, and Christian traditions. Excerpts from the History of Buddhism module. Alexander the Great and the Indo-Greek kingdoms. In the 3rd century, before Common Era, Alexander the Great conquered parts of Central Asia and all the way up to the Indus River. As a result, Greek settlements were established. Wherever the Greeks established a city, they introduced Greek language, philosophy, and lifestyle. By the time Emperor Ashoka arrived in Kandahar, Afghanistan, a century later, Indo-Greek kingdoms were established throughout the area, known today as Afghanistan, Pakistan, and northern India. Ashoka's rock inscription in Old Kandahar. Ashoka used to place inscriptions in strategic places in areas he conquered. It was his way of delivering his message to his subjects. Ashoka placed one inscription on the border between his kingdom and that of the Indo-Greeks, where people of Greek and Persian origin lived. The inscription was intentionally written in Greek and Aramaic, ancient Persian language, and related Buddhist ethics about non-violence. The Greek Buddhist. The wonderful display of interdependence can be observed in the way Greeks and Buddhists influenced one another. The result was a unique merge of Greek and Buddhist ideas and cultures known as Greco-Buddhism. Here is an example of the Buddhist practice of taking refuge in Greek, as inscribed into a rock from the time of the Indo-Greek Buddhists, found in Afghanistan. Greek: Namo Obodo, Namo O Duarmo, Namo or Sago, and in Pali, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. The question of King Milinda. Under Ashoka's rule, Buddhism was established as a new religion in those Greek communities. Later on, the Indo-Greek king Menander I, or Milinda in Pali, had a dialogue with a Buddhist monk called Nagasena, after which the king became a patron of Buddhism in his kingdom, where it flourished. Greco-Buddhist art. We can see Greek and Persian architectural influences in the Buddhist Indo-Greek kingdoms with Indo-Corinthian capitals. Capitals are decorations that are placed at the top of pillars, as seen in the Ahin Hosh Stupa. Buddhism arriving in Tibet. From building Samye Monastery. Shortly before Guru Rinpoche arrived in the palace, King Trisandetsen had a dream. He dreamt that the sun and moon rose up in the sky at the same time, and with that, the dark land became full of light. He interpreted his dream to mean that everything would work out fine. When Guru Rinpoche arrived at the palace, King Trisandetsen was filled with joy. He bowed down and gave Guru Rinpoche many offerings, including gold dust. Guru Rinpoche threw it away and told the king, "I don't need your gold. The whole world is like gold for me." At that moment, he touched a rock on the ground with his big toe, and the king and everyone present witnessed the whole area transformed into gold. The 8 manifestations of Guru Rinpoche, an experiential exploration of the basic qualities of the Padmasambhava principle. Handwork and mindfulness for primary to early secondary module.
Can put mark on the middle, yes, this part, but I'm keeping my needle here like this. So this is my half part, yeah, like this is the center.
Visual Arts module. Our learning approach is integrative and immersive, which also means that we weave experiential and contemplative arts into every aspect of our curriculum. Visual and performing arts are an inseparable part of our thematic main lesson blocks, specialist subject lessons, as well as when observing auspicious Buddhist days and celebrating cultural festivals. Abiding Heart's primary to secondary art curriculum is very rich. It includes watercolor painting using techniques such as wet on wet and wet on dry, drawing with crayons, color pencils, pastel and charcoal, slant line drawing technique, perspective drawing, geometrical drawing, drawing or painting portraits, understanding light and darkness or shadow when painting or drawing, landscape drawing and painting, blackboard drawing, mandalas, both drawing and making sun mandalas, and understanding the mandala principle. Blackboard drawing is also an important skill our trainees learn. Sonam Chedan, one of our art teachers, created much of our blackboard drawing curriculum. This goes together with our thematic main lesson blocks. Here are examples of blackboard drawings in thematic main lesson blocks and in specialist lessons. From Kesser of Ling, a Tibetan epic taught in Class 3 History main lesson block. Cultural studies and folk stories from around the world. From Living on the Earth and Right Livelihood, thematic main lesson block. From Class 3, Living on the Earth and Buddhist Ecology curriculum. From Tibetan Literacy and Experiential Buddhist curriculum. Geometrical drawings and mindfulness with Christine Powers.
Middle school. They're not in elementary school and they're not in high school. Everything is in between. So they have to live with that in their age. So we don't bring that in the academics in the 6th grade. It's when it's the height of it. And that's why geometry is really good. It's angles, it's very linear, it's got, everything has a reason. And that's also why black and white is good. So that's why we do these black and white drawings in the 6th grade. Nothing is done without a reason. My light is coming from here.
Perspective drawings and Buddhist practice. Perspective drawing and putting ourselves in another's shoes. We reflect on the meaning of the word perspective in art and in our relationships with others. Together with perspective drawing, we introduce a contemplative practice of attempting to see a situation from a point of view outside our own. We learn to connect with someone else's emotions and perspective, and at the same time, respect differences in their experience. We practice being present and open to learn from someone else's experience, as well as let go of our own biases and assumptions. We also bring into perspective drawing contemplations on the 8 consciousnesses and understanding individual karma. Why is each of us a unique individual, but all of us have Buddha nature or innate goodness?
So it's not only getting smaller as it goes back towards C, it's also getting smaller as it goes back towards A and as it goes back towards B.
Watercolor painting curriculum, wet on wet and wet on dry, with Sonam Chodron. All the different animals were connected with the tree and how the tree was connected with the different animals. How they were all connected and how they were interdependent, how they were, supported one another. One life supported another life. From the life of Shakyamuni Buddha, thematic main lesson block. From the Buddha's Paranirvana. crayons and color pencil drawings with Sonam Chödön and Christine Powers. From Tibetan literacy and experiential Buddhism. From Buddhist cosmology, thematic main lesson block. Drawing and plant meditation. Understanding change and impermanence in early secondary. From geography main lesson block. Understanding light and darkness. Form drawing with Christine Powers and Sonam Chödön. Sculptural modeling, wood carving and the 6 parameters with Christine Powers and Sonam Chödön. Beeswax modeling, clay sculptural modeling, wood carving. Beeswax modeling. Clay sculptural modeling. Stone carving with Suraj Tamang. Wood carving with Christine Powers.
So I mean, you know, they've got these heavy tools and they've got to figure out, you know, how to use them, and they keep making mistakes, or they keep doing, you know, they bang the nail and instead of hitting the nail, they hit the wood or they hit their finger or something like that. So it takes a lot of patience. You're right.
From World History, thematic main lesson block. Performing arts and movement, contemplative dance, theatre and drama, speech and poetry, singing, music, playing wind and string instruments, yoga and speech. Mother Tara, shining star, care for me through ocean's night. Help me cross without a fright. Zema pushed the boat into the water and allowed the boat to drift peacefully. The sunbeams were dancing, the air was warm and full of sweet scent. Zema took an easy pose, enjoying the water lily flowers that were floating about. It was quiet and peaceful. Zema stayed with it for a while, enjoying every little moment. Butterflies were fluttering over the lilies. 1, 2, 3. Drinking sweet nectar and then resting on some lily leaves. 1, 2, 3. Before going to other flowers in the meadow near the pond. Zema watched the beautiful butterflies and their beautiful colored wings. Each butterfly was different and just as beautiful. Poetry, speech, and brain gym with beanbags and roads exercises. I strive to learn to give my heart to all I see. I see that I, with heart aflame with love, can light the world. Personal and professional development, short courses, 2023. In 2023, we continued to offer our Experiential Buddhist personal and professional development courses. This included Experiential Buddhist Foundation Studies, Human Development from Birth to Rebirth, Abiding Heart's Learning Approach, Understanding and Processing the Buddhist Learning Methodology into Abiding Heart's Developmentally Appropriate Children's Buddhist Pedagogy, As It Is, Understanding Children with Special Needs with a Buddhist View, Meditation and Application. Experiential Buddhist Foundation Studies. We offer our Experiential Buddhist Foundation Studies as a standalone course or as part of our teacher training diploma programs. Experiential Buddhist Foundation Studies modules: Sravakayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana, Karma, Shamatha and Vipassana meditation practices, Shakyamuni sadhana practice, Buddhist rituals and etiquette, Himalayan Buddhist art, contemplative experiential art, crafts, mindfulness and the paramitas, pilgrimages throughout Buddhist Kathmandu. Sravakayana. Sravakayana module was taught by Ajahn Punadamo and Dr. Dominique Side.
Okay, so then there's another way of presenting the Four Noble Truths. Suffering, causes of suffering, cessation of suffering, and the path. Those are the Four Noble Truths, right? That's the column in the middle. So they can be sort of divided into two pairs. First pair, second pair. And each pair is an effect and a cause. And a cause and effect. So, if we take the cause first, the causes of suffering, which we said were the three poisons and karma action, then, they cause suffering, and suffering is the effect. And similarly, if we follow the path, then that becomes a cause for nirvana, or the end of suffering, which is the effect.
Part of our Experiential Buddhist Foundation Studies experience, our students went on a pilgrimage to Pashupatinath, a sacred Vedic site. In this special place, we caught a glimpse into the Vedic world Prince Siddhartha was born into and the people he encountered when he left his palace walls. Outside the palace, the prince met an old person, a sick person, a funeral procession, and a renunciate. As we sat by the holy river, we contemplated and meditated on these encounters known as the 4 divine messengers, which led the Buddha to renounce worldliness, to go forth, and with that, to attain liberation. Pashupatinath gave us a precious opportunity to experience and contemplate the Buddha's teachings on the truth of suffering and the causes of sufferings. In the Shravakayana module, Dr. Dominique Side brought the 12 links of dependent origination to life in an experiential way. Students were able to relate the 12 links to their everyday life experience. Mahayana module with Liliane and Lopan Ridzin Losal. Vajrayana module with Kabir Saxena, Elizabeth McDougall, Marcia Schmidt, and Wangdu Rinpoche. Human Development from Birth to Rebirth course. In this 10-week course, we bring together several disciplines: Buddhist psychology, contemplative science, developmental science, psychology, Steiner, Waldorf education, and other contemporary philosophies of education. The aim of the Human Development course is to understand child development, human development from birth to rebirth, and how this informs the Abide in Heart education approach and curriculum. We offer our Human Development course as a standalone or as part of our teacher training diploma programs. Neuroscience and contemplative science perspectives on human development. Dr. David Vago, a neuroscientist, gave us a series of lectures on neurobiological development and the evolving sense of self. We studied how the brain develops and its relationship to the development of sense of self from birth to adulthood. Dr. Vago also shared with us research findings on the effects of meditation practices on brain development, self-management, and human flourishing. These lectures were inspiring, and it was encouraging for us to know that our approach to children's education fosters healing and transformation. It is our deepest wish for children to grow up in an environment where they can be nurtured, loved, and allowed to be themselves. This is so they can flourish and meet challenges in life with resilience and a positive state of mind. Contemplative art. In the Human Development course, we also include contemplative art exercises. These are part of our experiential and meditative activities and are connected with the theme of the lectures and meditations. Human Development Module 6. The 6 Bardos with a focus on the Bardos of Death. Khentrul Lodrotaya Rinpoche began his teachings explaining that the Bardos are experiences connected with our mind. Therefore, in order to grasp the conceptual understanding of the 6 Bardos, Rinpoche explains that we must first engage with the question, what is mind? How does it operate? What is the essence and function of mind? Rinpoche then taught us about the Bardo of birth and duration and the Bardos of dream and meditation. Our Bardo's journey continued into the Bardo of death and dying, the Bardo of true nature, and the Bardo of becoming.
So, Rinpoche said, as has been requested, I'll be teaching similar to last year on the 6 Bardos with a particular emphasis on the process of the Bardo of dying and also of the Bardo of true nature or of Dharmata. And in general, there are different approaches, or we could say traditions, to giving instructions on the Bardo. And so then there's what are called the practice instructions of the Bardo. And then there's more of the explanation of the Bardo itself and the experience of that, which would be more of a kind of an information explanation that one would have in a class or school. For the approach of the practice instructions, this would be a very profound approach in which one would need first to have received empowerment to be already a Buddhist practitioner with a fairly developed practice, particularly within the Vajrayana tradition. And so because of all these prerequisites, whenever I have given Bardo instructions to anyone over the internet, then I have focused more on the experience of the Bardos, the information about what they are and so forth. And especially here, as this is a class, that will be the approach in which I give instructions.
Human Development Module 6.2 Prenatal Development with Dr. Tony Tidwell and Christine Powers. In this module, we contemplated the moment of conception from Buddhist and Tibetan medicine perspectives. We explored the Buddhist explanation of prenatal development as described in the Kalachakra text. We studied aspects of Buddhist psychology to understand prenatal development and the time before conception. We revisited themes of karma, reincarnation, 12 links, 5 aggregates, 3 selves, Buddha nature, and the Bardos of death in relation to prenatal development. As with all our modules, experiential Buddhism, meditation and contemplative practices are woven into the exploration of prenatal development. We revisited Buddhist principles we previously explored, such as karma, reincarnation, Buddha nature, bodhicitta, the four immeasurable, loving kindness and compassion, impermanence, interdependence, and innate goodness. As it is, Understanding Children with Special Needs course with Dr. Tori Hayden, Khenpo Sherab Tenzin, Shlomo Springer, and Christine Powers. At the heart of this course is understanding the practice of relationship-driven classroom. In this approach, children have the freedom to fail and make mistakes, the freedom to approximate. They are taught that failures are roads to success and are useful means of change. Abiding Hearts Advisory and Mentoring Service. Abiding Heart offers a consultancy and mentoring service to those interested in setting up a contemplative-based school or transforming their existing school into a contemplative-based school using the Abiding Heart education approach. This includes teachers and schools all over the world and can be government-run schools, independent schools, contemplative-based schools, secular and faith-based schools, holistic centers, and education and children-based NGOs and INGOs. For more information, please see the link. Advisory and mentoring service to Benchen School, Kathmandu, Nepal. Abiding Heart continued to provide in-school mentoring and training for Benchen Monastery School. This included the kindergarten and primary sections. This was in addition to 15 Benchen teachers attending our full-time teacher training courses. 6 Benchen teachers graduated from our training in December 2023. Graduation ceremony. In the photo, Benchen teachers and some of the other graduates. Curriculum implementation. We provided constant guidance to Benchen teachers in implementing the Abiding Heart's curriculum, with a strong focus on experiential Buddhism, meditation and the contemplative circle, visual arts such as painting, drawing, sculptural modeling, main lessons, thematic blocks that include, for example, the content of Abiding Heart's history, science, cultural studies, together with literacy and numeracy. Specialist subject lessons such as Tibetan, English, form drawing, handwork, gardening, and games. Bespoke training. Abiding Heart also offered a bespoke training to support the Benchen teachers in implementing the theory and practical content of our primary curriculum in their classroom setting. Mentorship. Abiding Heart offered an additional mentoring service to Benchen by being available on daily basis to their teachers to answer their questions relating to how to implement the curriculum and plan daily lessons, classroom management, and students' well-being. Advisory service. Abiding Heart offered consultancy for Benchen schools management regarding school development, education capacity development, children's care and welfare, human resources system, organization management, assessment and appraisals, nutrition, health and hygiene, resourcing and equipping the classrooms, designing classrooms, specifications for designing a new school building, and advice on parents' outreach program. Children's welfare. We designed and implemented care and welfare program for Benchen School. This included bedtime routine, morning routine, body care of the children, hygiene, weekend outings, nature walks and camping, celebrating festivals, emotional well-being of children, as well as advising on food and nutrition. Donations. In addition to the continuous support Abiding Heart offered to Benchen School, we also sourced and facilitated donations in kind for the school. We were able to find sponsors who donated clothes, shoes, art supplies, and recorders to the school. Mentoring teachers at Benchen. Abide, Abiding Heart's contemplative curriculum implemented at Benchen School. Mind in Body, Abiding Heart's meditation program implemented at Benchen School. Implementing Abiding Heart's kindergarten curriculum at Benchen School. Learning through play. Implementing Abiding Heart's cultural studies at Benchen School. Abiding Heart's experiential Buddhist curriculum implemented at Benchen School. Reenacting the night of the Buddha's enlightenment. The lineage of the teachings from Shakyamuni Buddha to our living gurus. Implementing Abiding Heart's experiential Buddhist curriculum. We designed a creative way to observe Chokra-duchin through understanding, in an experiential way, the lineage of the Buddha's teachings who were passed down from him through his disciples all the way to our present-day teachers. Chokra-duchin is a celebration of the first time the Buddha taught the Dharma. Abiding Heart's experiential Buddhism and Charya dance at Benchen School. Taking refuge in movement. Implementing Abiding Heart's art curriculum at Benchen School. Abiding Heart's heritage learning implemented at Benchen School. Implementing Abiding Heart's sculptural modeling curriculum at Benchen School using beeswax and clay. Implementing Abiding Heart's handwork curriculum at Benchen School. Implementing Abiding Heart's literacy curriculum at Benchen School. Abiding Heart sourced books for Benchen from various organizations, as well as donated children's books to the school. Implementing Abiding Heart's kindergarten nature studies curriculum at Benchen School. Implementing Abiding Heart's mathematics curriculum with connection to experiential Buddhism and nature studies. Communion with nature. Implementing Abiding Heart's experiential Buddhism and communion with nature curriculum. You know, you have quite a few trees in the playground. Maybe the children can go to a tree and maybe just sit under a tree or stand, you know, ask permission from the tree to sit underneath it and rest our back on it, and just sit with a sense of gratitude to the tree for the leaves, for the shade that it gives us, for the beauty that it gives us, for making us feel peaceful. We want them to develop a relationship of reverence and respect towards nature, especially towards trees. Feed them in every possible way. So we want to cultivate this relationship of appreciation to the trees. Introducing peer learning and group discussions at Benchen Primary Section. Using our international network, Abiding Heart invited Johannes Slondrecht, an architect from Switzerland, to help design a new school building for Benchen. We organized this visit and provided expert knowledge on school building pedagogical specification. Thank you for watching our 2023 review. Please consider supporting Abiding Heart by enrolling on our teacher education courses, joining our personal and professional development courses, participating in our retreats and adventures, purchasing from our art gallery and shop, making a tax-deductible donation, recommending us to your friends, family and colleagues, and keeping us in prayers. We invite you to join our courses and be part of this quiet revolution of educating for compassion, love, wisdom, and healing for a harmonious humanity. About Abiding Heart Education. Abiding Heart Education is a fusion of contemplative wisdom together with contemporary learning approaches, experiential arts and crafts, heritage, nature, sense of place, and developmental science. Abiding Heart Curriculum. In the Abiding Heart curriculum, all subjects taught are immersed within contemplative traditions that focus on developing wisdom and compassion. Our unique children's meditation and contemplative education is integral to each main lesson theme and throughout the school day, embracing a short time, many time style, which is developmentally more suitable for children. Our curriculum content is grounded in sense of place, nature, and local heritage to foster another measure of well-being in children. Our learning approach cultivates a balance of the intellectual, affective, meditative, and action or doing domains, and how that informs our everyday life. In this wholesome way of learning, our aim is to nurture in children and their teachers the seeds of progressing on the path, enabling them to rediscover their true awakened nature. Bespoke, Abiding Heart, Bespoke Education. Embedded in our approach is a method to create bespoke curriculums and teacher trainings that meet the specific needs of local communities around their world and unique heritage. A working example of this adaptable approach is our bespoke Experiential Buddhist education for Buddhist communities. We offer the possibility of designing a bespoke Experiential Buddhist education with its curriculum and teacher training for Theravada or Mahayana Buddhist traditions, as well as for specific lineages within Himalayan Buddhism. Please contact our director, Dr. Mirav Moore, if you or your community are interested in Abiding Heart, designing a curriculum and a teacher training that caters specifically to your heritage, spiritual tradition, sense of place, and other specifications you may require.